Hi. Well, thank you for joining this YouTube live stream. Some of you saw my TikTok videos and YouTube videos. Today, August 29, I'm going to talk about Biden's parole in place after lawsuit. Obviously, I was U.S. history professor for 22 years. I taught many students in person, and then during the COVID, I taught using stream device like this, but I'm doing this live video stream for the first time. In fact, I'm just recording this one in different spot than usual, so it can be rough. It's a little bit dark, and then all this, I feel a little bit out of uh, ordinary. But what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna talk about what's happening with a parole in place program after the lawsuit, and then I'm gonna walk you through again about the program and what's going on, and then also I have some list of comments that already received for this program in my YouTube video. So that's what I'm gonna do today. So uh, let's start with the first one, right? Many of you know that state of Texas and 15 other states filed lawsuit against a parole in place program on August 23rd. This lawsuit, not really surprised that it was filed in Texas. In fact, with the Eastern District of state of Texas, and then this was already assigned to the judge, and then Monday, August 26th, judge issued the ruling, and then we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna start with this. The first little bit circle back what the state of Texas and other states wanted in their lawsuit. Number one, right? When they filed the lawsuit on August 23rd, they asked the court to issue what they call temporary restriction order. It's called TRO. It means that they wanted to ask the court to stop USCIS from accepting new applications and approving new applications. And number two, eventually they asked the court to declare the program was unlawful. Now, Monday, the judge issued TRO in favor of the plaintiff, the state of Texas. Now, the judge uh, ordered the USCIS not to approve any pending cases for 14 days. So this TRO has a different name. It's called injunction. And then according to the rule, from August 26th for 14 days, USCIS not allowed to approve any cases. This was very unfortunate and upsetting for many of you who have a pending cases. I know that we did, and then you did. Many law firms filed the cases, right? And then starting August 19 throughout the week, and then some of the cases already approved. Those are the cases that who are on DACA, right? If you're on DACA, you do biometrics every 2 years. And then even with 601A waiver cases, those of you who have a waiver cases, if you completed a biometrics, probably you got this parole approval already. So that's good for you. So you can move on to next stage. But we're talking about um, the applicants who still thinking about applying for the program and then have a pending cases. And then the judge injunction order on August 26th was devastating. So, but still, the USCIS processing cases, uh, scheduling biometrics, reviewing documents as much they can, but simply for 14 days, starting from August 26th, they're not able to approve any cases. Now, then what's going to happen after 14 days? Then according to the judge order, this injunction may be extended another 14 days. But the state of Texas and other plaintiff must show a good cause. So it's not automatic extension. So the key point is this: 14 days defined from Monday, but this can be extended, and we'll see whether this will happen or not. And also, the judge who issued injunction on August 26 also wanted to expedite the hearing. So instead of taking forever like other cases, the judge is serious about getting this process resolved in favor of the plaintiff or defendant. Obviously, defendant is a Department of Homeland Security. Also, you probably know that even though DHS may prevail this case, I believe that that's high possibility because the state of Texas sue similar program, the Parole for Cubans, Haitis, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans in the past. They filed this lawsuit in Texas, but at the end, the judge, in Texas declared that the state of Texas didn't have a standing, and then they rule in favor of the government. So there's a hope that it's the same parole program. It's not a brand new program. They use existing statute and then apply to those who enter without inspections, and then you already know all this eligibility to apply for a parole in place. So there is a hope that this time again, maybe government will prevail. So, so that's the current status of this parole in place program after the lawsuit. So repeat one more time. Now, for 14 days starting August 26, USCIS allowed to accept and process, but not allowed to approve any cases. Now, circling back to previous, stage of this case, that I'm gonna talk about a little bit about the parole program and why is it still maybe a good idea. Because for those of you watching this video, not only you like to learn what is going on with the parole program, but maybe you haven't submitted your application yet, and then thinking about whether still is a good idea to submit, knowing that USCIS not allowed to approve your case. I personally believe that it's a good program. I mean, the bottom line is that whether you have a pending 601A or not, most of you have three alternatives to get permanent residency, right? Not counting parole in place. Number one, if you're on DACA, then you're eligible for DACA advanced parole. We have a lot of clients who went to overseas, home country, for advanced parole, came back, fixed their entry without inspection, and then apply for marriage green card case. In fact, if you're and then it's a good program, right? So you may think about doing DACA advanced parole, but compared to parole in place, DACA advanced parole, you need to leave the United States and come back. Although we're highly successful with a DACA advanced parole, whenever we have a consultation, initial consultation, most are concerned. They have educations, jobs, families, spouses. Some of them have children. The idea of leaving the United States and coming back was very, very challenging. So, but still good option, DACA advanced parole. Number two, if your spouse is serving the military, active, right, with the military, or is a veteran, then you can do military parole in place, right? So prior to this, Biden's parole in place for spouses of U.S. citizen, then military parole in place was the most common parole program implemented and enforced inside the United States, similar to Biden's new spousal parole in place. If you're eligible for military parole in place, then even though you're enter without inspection, you'll be able to adjust your status. similar to Biden's spousal parole in place. This military parole in place has two stages. You start with a 131. Note that the form name is a different, right? The spousal parole in place 131F, military parole in place 131. So that's the difference, right? But the procedural sequence is similar. Once 131 is approved for your military parole in place, then you will be able to adjust your status. It'll be marriage green card case. Similar to that, spousal parole in place. Once your 131F is approved, then you can adjust your status, marriage green card case. For most of you, you may have I-130 pending or approved, or you have a pending 601A waiver, or maybe your 601A is already approved. You're just waiting for interview, consular interview in Juarez. That's good option, but compared to this parole in place, it's more expensive, and then it takes quite some time. For those of you from Mexico, we're talking about waiver process from the beginning to the end, 4 to 5 years. In contrast, when the USCIS allowed to process and approve parole in place, and then second case, marriage green card case, it'll be a lot faster. So circle back, sum it up. If you are disappointed and not sure whether you're going to apply for parole in place because of the court action, you may think that it's going to be drag out. It could be appealed to next level, which is the Fifth Circuit Court. It may go up to Supreme Court. You saw what happened to DACA program, right? Remember that when Trump became president first time, he terminated DACA program back in 2017. And then obviously DACA Advanced Parole program was terminated as well. Went through so many lawsuits. Eventually went to the Supreme Court. Went back to state of Texas district court. And as you know, as of today, USCIS not allowed to take any new initial DACA program, but allowed to renew and then approve a DACA Advanced Parole. So knowing that it was messy, lengthy process, you may think that maybe I shouldn't try this parole in place, and I'm gonna think about three alternatives, most common three alternatives, based upon the marriage to U.S. citizen, right? DACA Advanced Parole, military parole in place, and 601A waiver. Now, 601A waiver is a still good program, even though it's a lengthy and expensive. Why? Because it's still good program, right? It's in the book, and then USCIS, consular post, reviews and approve. But at the same time, remember, in order to be eligible for parole in place program, there is a multiple eligibility checklist, right? So you need to be in the U.S. At least 10 years as of June 17, 2024. For those of you who entered the U.S. later than June 17, 2014, right? That's like 10-year mark. Then waiver is a good program, right? And then also, not every one of you got married to U.S. citizen. If your I-130 petitioner is a permanent resident, and there's a reason why your spouse may not be eligible or not interested in applying for N-400 naturalization, then 601A waiver is a still good program for you. So we talked about three alternatives to parole in place. If you're still wavering and thinking whether this is a good program or not, because you don't want to go through waiting. And then in fact, there's a good possibility that for those of you who already submitted parole requests online, you pay the filing fees, right? And then USCIS may not be able to approve your case at all. It may be like pending with the USCIS, not only with the court, but with the USCIS. and then you end up just waiting. So this is why I and the most attorneys will tell you that if you have a pending other cases, DACA advanced parole, do not withdraw it unless your I-131F parole application is approved. Right? When it's approved, then you can apply for marriage green card case. You don't need an advanced parole. Now, if you have a military parole in place pending, then you should keep it open, right? Or maybe you even pursue that as well. And then if you have a pending waiver case, then you may continue and then that route. So I tell our clients that do not withdraw any pending cases that you have for your permanent residency. So now, uh, you know, prior to this live stream, we had many questions about next step. So I'm gonna talk about that a little bit, and then I'm gonna schedule another live stream next time. As I mentioned, that I was, like college professor for 22 years. I taught, many students in person, and then, via Zoom during the COVID. But this is the first time that I'm doing a YouTube live stream. It's a little bit different experience. I'll be honest with you, I don't like the setup of the camera and then all this, so I'll do better next time. I wanted to see how this one goes, and also I wanted to share what's going on with the Pearl program. But I plan to do this every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Time. Hope to see more of you next time. But let's talk about what's after Pearl approval, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. So when your Pearl 131F is approved, then you're able to start your marriage green card case. Now, if your I-130 is approved, then you can recycle it. You can attach it into your application. If your I-130 is also pending, you can do it likewise. So when you apply for marriage green card case, you apply for 485. If you need work permit, you can apply for 765. As you know, that when parole is approved, then you're also eligible to apply for work permit, but that filing fee is higher than applying for work permit through marriage green card case. So circling back, you apply for 45, 765, you submit affidavit of support 864, you include medical exam, and then like I said, if your I-130 pending or approved, you can add it into your case. So thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I know that it's a little bit shorter than typical YouTube live, but like I said, this was the first time, so I'm gonna watch it myself and learn from it, and then hope that I will deliver better next time. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye bye.